Okay, let's just dive right in. I want you to picture a factory floor. You know the scene. Machines are humming, green lights are flashing, and products are rolling off the line. From the manager's office, everything looks fantastic. It looks productive. But this, right here, is where we run into the OEE lie. This really dangerous assumption that a busy factory is an effective one. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and uncover the truth behind your factory's real capacity. And this quote, this really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? The single idea challenges pretty much everything we think we know about productivity. A machine that's moving is definitely consuming energy. It's using up labor. It's adding to the overhead. But the real question is it actually creating value? That's the critical piece we so often forget to ask. Just look at this gap between what we think is happening and what's actually happening. If you ask most plant managers, they'll probably tell you they're running at about 85, maybe 90% efficiency. But when you actually apply the formula for overall equipment effectiveness, or OEE for short, the real number, it's often closer to 60%. So where did that massive 30% gap come from? Well, let's find out. So first, we have to talk about this illusion of productivity. It's so easy to fall for it. We're all basically conditioned to see activity and just assume it means progress. But in manufacturing, that assumption can be incredibly costly. I mean, just think about it for a second. A machine can be running all day long, but if it's cranking out parts that have to be reworked, or even worse, just scrapped entirely, it's not just failing to make money, it's actively losing it. You're paying for materials, you're paying for labor, and you're paying for energy, all to create waste. That is the illusion of productivity in action. So, how do we cut through all that noise, through that illusion, and get to the actual truth? Well, we use this incredibly powerful metric called OEE, or Overall Equipment Effectiveness. Let's break down what that really means. See, OEE isn't just some random number. It's a composite score that multiplies three supercritical factors together. First up, you've got availability. Basically, was the machine running when it was supposed to be? Then there's performance. How fast was it running compared to its ideal top speed? And finally, you have quality. Of all the parts it made, how many were actually good, sellable parts? All right, let's use a real-world example to make this stick. Let's say your machine was available to run 86% of its scheduled time. Now, that sounds pretty decent, right? You might even pat yourself on the back. And during the time it was running, it operated at 88% of its theoretical top speed. Again, not perfect, but hey, not bad at all. You're hitting nearly 90% of your performance target. Things are looking good. And your quality? It's fantastic. 96% of the parts you produced were perfect the first time through. That's world-class stuff. So with scores of 86, 88, and 96, your final OEE score must be somewhere up in the high 80s, right? Wrong. And this is the gut punch of OEE. When you actually multiply those three numbers together, so 0.86 times 0.88 times 0.96, your real OEE is only 73%. This just brilliantly shows how these seemingly small losses in each area compound into one massive overall loss. More than a quarter of your potential capacity just vanished into thin air. So, where on earth did all that productive time go? Well, it was basically eaten alive by what the industry calls the 6 big losses. These are the specific culprits that are stealing your efficiency day in and day out. It's actually pretty simple when you see it laid out. Each of those 3 OOE factors we talked about has 2 corresponding losses. So, availability gets hit by breakdowns and long setups. Performance suffers from these tiny little minor stoppages and just running at a reduced speed. And quality? Well, that gets eroded by scrap, rework, and those rejects you always get during startup. These 6 categories, they account for pretty much all the lost time in any factory. Let's zoom in on one of the sneakiest losses of them all, minor stoppages. You know what I'm talking about. A sensor trips, a part gets jammed, the operator fixes it in 30 seconds and just keeps going. Nobody ever writes it down. But think about it. If that happens 50 times a shift, you've just lost 25 minutes of production. It's an invisible killer of your capacity that just slowly bleeds you dry. Now, this isn't just some operational issue for the folks on the factory floor. No. This is a major financial issue that should be on every single executive's radar. Let's talk real money for a second.
For just a single critical machine, improving your OEE score by only 12 points, say going from 60 to 72%, can easily add up to over $400,000 a year in recovered costs and extra throughput. That is the kind of financial power that's hidden inside this one metric.
And here's why that number is so big. When your machine stops making parts, your expenses, they don't stop with it. You're still paying rent, you're still paying for utilities, you're still paying salaries. This is what's called unabsorbed overhead. And every single minute your machine is down, those fixed costs are turning into direct losses on your P&L statement. But here's the most exciting part of all this. Understanding OEE isn't really about finding faults. It's about finding potential. It lets you unlock what some people call the hidden factory, all that capacity you already own, but just aren't using. Think about it. When a company needs more capacity, what's the default reaction? It's almost always to go buy a new million-dollar machine. But what OEE data often shows is a much better path. The capacity is already there, it's just trapped inside those 6 big losses. Improving what you already own is almost always faster, cheaper, and way less risky. So you're convinced. You see the illusion, and you want to unlock your hidden factory. The big question is, what is the very first step you can take, say, tomorrow morning? Well, that all starts with this one. Simple, but incredibly powerful question. You have to stop guessing and you have to start asking, where is our time really going? And the answer isn't in some office or buried in a spreadsheet. It's right there on the factory floor. So here's your game plan. 1, don't try to boil the ocean. Just pick your single most important, most constrained machine, your bottleneck. 2, start tracking those 6 big losses, but just for that one asset. Get a stopwatch, a clipboard, whatever it takes to get real data. And 3, put that data up on a scoreboard where everyone can see it. Stop managing by gut feel and start managing by the numbers. Uncover the lie, find the truth, and go unlock the capacity that's just waiting for you.
Thank you for watching the videos and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the content, ring the bell and like and subscribe. If you want to learn more about operations management, check out the books at the links in the description below.